Assalamu alaikum, divine peace and blessings. I look at my life, I look at these decades that have passed, and while I am ageless, alhamdulillah, and I have been for quite some time, I was born in the 80s. I'm an 80s baby. And so the beauty and the advantages of that period of time was one where things were more present. Not everyone was connected to an external device that then had to be a part of every gathering, every event, every encounter. There was just this beautiful presence and this appreciation for simple things like someone writing you a letter, you writing them a letter. I think of just many times where I would be on the phone with a friend and we're just reading to each other. Times where my friend, maybe she had a CD player and she's playing a song from her boombox, like from her radio, and I'm just laying there listening to this song through the phone. I remember that time when phone bills actually were a thing. You know, you talk to your friend and your mother's like, you were on the phone with so and so. I'm thinking of one particular sister, Gina, for 3 hours. And yeah, it was just a different time. Like you said to people, hey, I'm going to show up here. And you didn't text before or anything. You just showed up at that time. Maybe you used the payphone to let them know, hey, I'm in the area. But it was just so different. And with that, you know, growing up in that period of time, I look at my connections and specifically one of my friends who to this day we're friends. And even if the years pass, the love is so present and so deep. This particular friend, she was just different from most of us in that she had this natural gravitation toward God, more or less, and the teachings that were within Islam. And while many of us were still interested in, you know, the music or certain magazines, she just naturally kind of moved away from that and just didn't have the same interest in that regard. I kept that interest, but I loved connecting through prayer. I loved reading Quran with her. I loved the times that I would go to her house and we would divide the day up, divide the hours up. Oh, this hour we'll read Quran, this hour we'll do dhikr, which is a kind of like divine remembrance, or some might call it a mantra. And I can talk more about that later. This amount of time we read Quran, this amount of time we, you know, if we spent the night, we would sometimes get up. Well, pretty much every time there was a sleepover, get up in the middle of the night before the dawn prayer, before the first prayer of the 5, and we would do extra. And the sweetness of that kind of connection is, there's nothing like it. I'm just going to say there's nothing like having a friend who is in the embodiment of surrender, of connecting with divine guidance. And I only know it through the context of Islam, to be honest with you. What I mean is that I didn't grow up, for example, in the church. I have lots of Christian family. Majority of my family would say is Christian, even if not by practice fully, but by name. My mom converted from Christianity to Islam before I was born. So I don't have in my immediate family or my immediate lineage an abundance of Muslims. I felt to share that because so many people, they ask and they think I have Arab blood because I lived in the Middle East for, I guess, altogether maybe 11 years of my life. So there's that impression of, oh, she probably is mixed with Arab. But no, I'm not mixed with Arab blood at all in any way, shape, or form. I'm Caribbean and American. And there's indigenous roots. There's also some Irish. My grandfather's grandfather was pure Irish. So, and he was married to a Native American, indigenous American woman. So the heritage is not connected to the Middle East. That's the point. growing up in a household where faith was the anchor, faith was the primary focus. I don't know a day that my parents didn't wake up before dawn to pray. It was not that was the reality that I grew up with. And so through that, I tasted the sweetness of divine connection. Through that, I tasted what it is like to be in surrender, even if it's not every moment of your day, but to have these moments that are dedicated to devotion within the Islamic context. But I'm fast forwarding now to, these choices that shaped me that were first from my parents, which one of them was they didn't want me in public school. They wanted me to be in an environment that was supportive of the values and the beliefs that they themselves upheld. So I never went to public school, and I grew up with so many children who themselves were also Muslim, obviously, Muslim parents. So I was pretty much born and raised in America, but at the same time, living an existence that was not of America. So the influence was coming in. Yes, there was music. Again, there was magazines. There were certain TV shows. But even for a period of time, my parents got rid of the television. So it was more reading was my form of entertainment. But let's just go and say that now I've had the experience of all different types of connections and friendships. And I still fondly look at this friendship I had in middle school with my dear friend who to this day is a woman of devotion. To this day, she is a woman of deep devotion and practice. And one of the fondest memories I have is walking with her around Lincoln Park, not talking, and just saying dhikr, subhanallah, 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 which means glory be to God, like how perfect God is. Alhamdulillah, 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 which is all thanks, all praise is due to Allah. La ilaha illallah. There's nothing, there's no deity, there's nothing worthy of worship except Allah. Allahu Akbar. There's nothing greater than Allah. And I'm saying it to myself, she's saying it, we're just walking for about a mile or so. And that is just one of the sweetest memories to this day. So the friends we have, they shape us. And definitely that friendship, even though later, before high school, she moved to Michigan, that relationship was a catalyst for an incredible experience in another country. She was actually the catalyst for me having my first experience abroad. And of course, my parents were quite supportive and facilitating, but the idea came or was nurtured with her. So the type of friends we have, they can make us, they can break us, they can shake us up, they can do a lot of things. And I recommend every one of you to set intention to have a friend that nourishes you on every level, and to set intention that nourishment is for your soul and for the longevity of your soul. So much love to all of you, and peace and blessings.